All right. What are the most important buttons to navigate the software?
So we're going to focus primarily on the programmer.
Good.
You'll see it right up here in the top left of the screen. Um, this is where we'll do a lot of our programming from. You can see at the top it says dimmer, position, gobo, color, beam, focus, and control. Those are all the functions that any of the lights in our system will have. So first off, we'll select a light, and to do that, we'll use a number keypad over here. 101, please. That's going to be our first spot fixture in our rig is 101. To turn it on, we can do a couple of things. You can come over here. You can click right here and drag it across or drag it that way. You can see the little wheel moving. You can do that. You can click on the 0.0 and then type in a number. So you can do 50. That's a percentage. Or you can do 100 and it will follow along. You can also roll this wheel right here on the far right. You can go down, see the wheel rolling. This whole thing right here corresponds to a command wing, which is what I'm actually using right here. But you can actually do everything that I'm doing on the screen. So now we have a dimmer here. We're going to go to our position, and we're going to go tilt at 50%. It's technically not percent, it's degrees in pan and tilt. So 50 will be 50 degrees forward. If I go back to 0 and then I hit minus 50, it will do 50 degrees backwards. So instead of doing it's basically a plus and minus on the axis. So we'll go back to 0 and then go back to 50. You can do the same thing as we did on the dimmer. You can go 132.5 is our max, and negative 132.5 is our minimum. We'll do, 50, which I like 50. Okay, same thing with pan. You can do it this way, 236.2, and our max is 315. Or actually, our minimum is negative 315, and our max is 315. For this purpose, we're just going to do 50. And that should point us right to the center of the stage. Okay. Then we have some other functions here, which we'll get into in a little bit. But if you look over here, there's a couple of buttons that are illuminated. You see clear right here. That means that there is stuff in our programmer right here that can be cleared out. We're not storing anything anywhere right now. We're just setting it up for a look. So if I hit clear, the buttons have multiple functions. So if I hit clear one time, it's just going to clear out everything's still illuminated red. It's still active in the programmer. It's just cleared. The light itself is cleared from being active. If I hit it again, it should clear and turn everything grayed out. The light is still outputting what we told it to, but it's grayed out. If we hit it one more time, it should clear everything away. And then now the clear button is gone. So we'll go back to 101, please, and turn the dimmer on at 100. You can also see, if you look over here, you have closed and open. Open's on, closed, we'll turn it off. Open, we'll turn it on. And then we'll go back to our pan and tilt, 50%. And then we'll go to gobo here. This is where we can select all of our gobos. So you can see you have our different options here. We'll go to a 1.5. It's going to put it in a light. And then we have these other options here. This is a rotation, so we can see what it's going to do. It's going to rotate that gobo on the screen. There's some other options that it'll do too. So yeah, there's that. And that's active in our programmer. So yeah, then if you look right here, these little red squares, that refers to stuff that is active. So you can easily tell what functions in your light are active in the programmer. That when I say active in the programmer, I mean that that's something that can be stored somewhere else later. We'll talk about storing and everything later on, but that's something that can be stored. There's something in that thing that says it can be stored somewhere. So yeah, if if we look at color, nothing is illuminated, so that means no red light, which means that's not gonna, no color information is going to be stored anywhere in our show at all for this specific light.
Now I see that some boxes have a hook and some of them don't have anything at all. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so what he's referring to is this little hook right here. So all the most of the buttons, as well as a lot of the boxes that you see, will have multiple functions. So in this case, this little hook here means that there are menus underneath this. I call that the shark fin. So if we click on color 1, it's going to change it to a color mix, which means this light has a color wheel and it has a color mixing engine in it. Then we click it again, it actually has a mixed color B, which is indigo light, which in this specific light is really cool. We'll learn about that later on when we're doing some programming. And then it has a color mix again that has a pure mix mode, a color mix mode. It has some options here, cycle the colors, random colors, and then a pure mix, which basically means you're going to get a specific color. So that's that. And then it goes back to CTC and then back to our color 1. So that just means there's multiple layers underneath that are there. The other thing is most of the buttons will also have that. So we'll just look at the assign button for now. If you click assign and you look down here in the command line, you'll see that it says assign. If I click it again, it's going to say label, which means that's how I can label different things. And then I click it again, it's going to say appearance. We'll talk a lot about this later on when we're building stuff, but appearance is how things look in your layouts. So that's pretty much it. So remember, all the buttons, most of the buttons will have multiple menus or multiple assignments. And then if you ever see that hook, that means there's multiple menus underneath that.
All right, great. We will see you in the next episode.
All right, see ya.
Bye.